Everybody. Hey, everybody. So we are in day 30. Won't he do it? Of the 40-day soul fast, right? It's called Blessings. Um, I I'm in love with God. I had a great discussion of this book earlier, and so I always do my recap with y'all because I can't get enough of this book by Dr. Cindy Trimm, honey. I just can't get enough of it. So she talks to us about how we need to be giving our blessings away. So she makes a reference to, she said, God says when he speaks, his words do not return to him without accomplishing what he is sent to do. In the beginning, he blessed Adam and Eve, instructed them to be fruitful and multiply and subdue the earth and subdue and rule the earth. It wasn't just a command, however, but his blessing within which contains the capacity to accomplish his vision for their lives. So when he sent the word, remember we talked about their death words have death and life in them, right? So he sent the word. So I was seeing a metaphor of the angels guarding the words as the word is sent out so that it can be accomplished. And then kind of like action heroes, that's what the angels were. And then how the enemy is shooting dice and swords against those words, so they won't attach to you, right? And then sometimes we and our own flesh use a shield to speak against it. I'm believing in God for my husband. God, I want my husband. And then God sends out the word to assign that man to come to me, right? And then I'm like, oh, there are no good men out here. Oh, that's the shield. Oh, I'm asking God to help me with my weight. And God's like, okay, so today you're going to do this today. And I'm like, oh, I just want to eat everything. And then he's like, oh, that's my shield. So we are blocking our own blessings that God is giving us when we don't do and we don't use the proper wording. Okay. Words of encouragement, identity. So let me go back. Let me read up a little bit. She says, you have the power to use your words to accomplish the same things in the lives that God brings across your path. So to speak life-giving words that forward yourself and others along. Words of encouragement, identity, vision, kindness, and purpose, showing compassion and gentleness even to your enemies or others who are undeserving or ungrateful will make a difference. So even those people in our lives that don't care nothing about what we say, don't care nothing about how we feel, we need to speak words of compassion to them. And I'm called to do that on a regular basis, y'all. Unlike the laws of sowing and reaping, blessings supersede natural laws and move you into the realm of the miraculous and the unexpected. So she says, when God moves you by his spirit to speak a blessing, do it. You have no way of knowing what harvest God is going to bring from them. Right? So we need to be bold in our actions to say and do what God has called us to do. So in Ecclesiastes 11:1, King Solomon made a example of blessings as bread. So he says, cast your bread upon the waters and you will find it after many days. So I saw like a piece of bread, because when you put bread in water, it's gonna fall down, it's gonna break apart, it's not gonna stay together, right? But he's saying that your words are bread. So when you cast that out into the water, it's going to break apart and boop up, and you can eat off of that, and you can eat off of it, and then people that you bless, you can share with other people, and they can say, this was good, this is in the water, where'd you get this from? Oh, I threw this out a long time ago, and here it is again. Okay, so you be like, and then you give it to your kids, taste this, ain't this good? And then let me tell you how she got it. She put it in the water, and then she gave me some, and here I am giving you some. It's so good, I had to give you some. There go the blessings. And then someone else says, oh, that's good. Let me try that. And then they do it, and then they get a blessing. And they're like, listen, so I was talking to my friend the other day, right? And so she got this blessing, and she gave me some of it. And I said, let me try. And then I tried, and then guess what? That's why you eating it. Ain't it good? And they're like, yeah, let me tell somebody else. So if we do that with seeds of goodness, We see that in seeds of, like, I was just listening to someone that sent me something about this woman talking about this trauma that she went through in her relationship with another man, with this man. And so it's going viral and it's so many videos about it, right? And the Holy Spirit was like, you ain't gonna be reading that. You ain't gonna be listening to that, because what God got for you ain't got nothing to do with that. So I don't need to eat off of that. So if you're eating off of videos that are traumatic and you're like, oh my God, oh, let me share this. Why are we sharing that? We need to be showing the goodness. Share a story like this, which is good and yummy, and it's about God's goodness, and or share a story of good stories. We don't get a lot of traction with that. Even when you watch the news, it ain't nothing good about that news, right? And we watch it and we think about it. We get scared. We get fearful. And then we share that stuff. We share that same trauma. Okay, so when we have a spirit of blessing, when we understand what it's like to be a blessing to other people, she says, release your words of blessings in hope and faith that God will bring a harvest of joy for you and the love of God to the receiver. It is true with the law of sowing and reaping. You always reap more than you sow. Okay, so we should have a character of compassion. And compassion can be defined as deep awareness of suffering of others, coupled with the wish to relieve it. The humane quality of understanding the suffering of others and wanting to do something about it, right? So we don't just know that someone is suffering. We know it and we want to do something about it. And I think that's why I'm reading this book and sharing it, because I'm suffering in my spirit and I don't want you to suffer. So I want you to get these nuggets, and you share it with someone else, and you go get this book, and they go get this book, and they and them and all of these, he, she, we, and everybody gets this book. We get this book and we share it. We don't let people suffer alone. We understand what it's like to suffer. We understand what it's like to not have a characteristic of compassion. And we want to be bold enough to share it. Be bold enough to even talk about it. If you don't share this word with them, you don't share this video, then you talk about it. You give the word away. Whatever nuggets you learned, you give it to somebody else. And so let me encourage you, because she got some, not when you get this information, she gave you an assignment. Let me tell y'all, every time I read this assignment, I laughed out loud the first time I read it. So you probably gonna laugh too. Think of someone you normally don't have patience for and speak a blessing over him or her right now. So she's calling you to pray for them, to say something about them, say something positive about them, speak life into that person that gets on your everlasting nerves, right? Those are the people that we don't want to pray for. Those are the people we need to pray for. And you speaking that word of life into them is like bread, boop, 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 that's gonna pop up later on, and you're gonna get a blessing either from that person or from somebody else, but it's going to be because of your obedience and praying for them. Okay, so I want you to do that. And then I normally don't give all the nuggets out, all the steps out, but I got to give you this next one. She says, the next time you come across a person less fortunate, stop and bless them with your words. So don't give money, give a word. She said, you might not have the money or the time to invest, but you always have a kind word, and there is no better investment than that. Isn't that good? Yeah, I don't typically read. There's another study guide that goes along with this, but the study guide for today was so good. I want to kind of go back to it. So in Malachi, it says, it's quite simple. Be compassionate and loyal in your love, and don't take yourself too seriously. So don't overthink it when you do something for other people. Just be compassionate and be loyal in love, because when you give to someone else, when you're compassionate to someone, that's love, and that's the greatest gift of them all. And that's found in 1 Corinthians 13. That's the love chapter. If you ever want to know how to love, read 1 Corinthians chapter 13. That will tell you it's kind. It doesn't boast. It doesn't keep record of wrong. A lot of us keep record of what somebody did. Yeah, remember in 1975, this is what you did, for those that are that old. But those that are younger, and in 2022, you did this to me, and I ain't been able to get over it. Until I forget it, you ain't gonna forget it. That's not love. That's not compassion. You don't get no blessings in that. Okay. She says, what better way is there to share the love of God than to bless others with your words? That is how you shine the light in the darkness. Okay. So she encourages us to, I encourage you today to check your compassion meter. Oop, did you know you had one? She says to check your compassion meter. Open your heart and mind to those in need around you and explore how you might respond to those needs. Speak a blessing into the lives of everyone you encounter. Okay. And again, she says, what better way is there to share the love of God than to bless others with your words? Life and death is in the power of the words, right? So remember that. Speak love through your words. What a blessing it is. I want to thank you guys. So there's a quote by Leo Buscaglia. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Buscaglia. Too often we underestimate the power of touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest accomplishment, or the smallest acts of caring, all of which have the potential to turn a life around. Let me say that again. We often underestimate the power of a touch, a smile, a kind word, a listening ear, an honest accomplishment, or the smallest act of kindness, all of which have the potential to turn someone's life around. Oh, I added that, turn a life around. Don't you want to turn somebody's life around? Don't you want to be mindful of what you do and just give love away? I want to encourage you to do that today, okay? This is your nugget. 40 Day Soul Fast. Thank you for letting me share. Everybody.